One of the ways to get land cheaper, to buy land cheaper, is to buy land that very few other people want. And the place I bought was pretty darn cheap. I sold my house in the city, moved far, far out in the country, and I bought land for about a quarter of what I sold my house for in the city. That's pretty exciting. But there's a reason why that land was on the market so long and other people didn't jump at the chance of buying it. It's because it's not easy land to get to. Access is absolutely critical. Now, you're going to need access too, so don't be kidding yourself that you can buy land no one else can get to, and that's why they don't want it, and you're somehow going to, wheelbarrow in bags of concrete to build your place. All right? You're going to have the investment available to make the way to get there. And what's cool is that other people don't want to do that work. It's scary, and in many places there's a lot of regulations about it, and whether or not you can bulldoze a road in or this or that. Well, where I live, there's not a lot of regulation, and that's actually good. I have a lot of freedom here, and I have to be careful with that because that means, I'll be punished for the decisions I make. I could make really dumb decisions, but I've made very few, and none of them have been life-threatening or critical. Now, we're going to take a look right now at an area that is a tough one. It has to do with access. I'm in this ravine here, right? Like down there, the ravine just drops off, way down there. Like if you jump off that, well, you probably won't be coming out. And it's a beautiful ravine. I had some people come here and look at ferns once. They were like plant geeks. I was like plant geeks, but these were real specific plant geeks. They're just into ferns. Well, they're probably into other stuff too, but they're fern experts. So they were going through my barranca, identifying species and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, the ferns are pretty. And they're like, oh, this is a blah, 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 blah. Ooh, look at this, blah, blah, blah. It was very fun. Very nice people. I love plant geeks. But this is actually a cool barranca down there, a cool ravine. And there's a different access way into it that I dug. I paid people to dig a long time ago. And I actually want to widen that and make it safer. Because right now you could fall off of it. And I want to not have people falling off shit and getting injured or anything else dumb. Mostly they cause their own problems. But let's check out this problem here. First of all, this road's pretty, well, I think it's pretty good by my standards. It gets really slick, so the rains are a problem. Let's get to the worst part of it. See, I almost fell right there. It's slippery. God dang. And I could pour sand on that. I could, hire trucks of sand to come in. And ultimately it could get paved. I mean, paving things should only happen where they have to. But there's also, it gets really dusty at times. And so paving is not necessarily bad. I just, want to do it very carefully and minimally. Currently there is no pavement, no paved roads in here. And I have a kilometer of roads, something like that. I could actually measure that. I should have a spreadsheet of each road and then add them all up and see how much road I'm currently maintaining, because one of my goals is to get bulldozer work done, and that will double the amount of roads or something if I've got it all done, everything I wanted, something like that. Anyway, I'm down here, okay? You can see how this is a dip, right? It comes down there and then it goes back up a little bit over there. But what I want to do is dig out a building spot over there. That gets me dirt. The dirt comes into here. See, that's mud puddles and stuff, and it's all growing over. And this out here is area that could be flattened. It's currently slopes down into there because this is from a bulldozer. This is a crossing point I made years ago, like 11 years ago. And the problem is if you bring a car through here, you get all this brush in here. That's not a problem. But you get really slippery. And you're also slipping and sliding right next to this big drop off over there. Now, it would be hard to imagine somebody's car going over that edge, but I don't want to have to even think about it. I don't need this kind of risk in my life, So we bulldoze out there for the building spot. We fill this in. We get maybe a couple trucks of gravel, sand, stuff like that dumped in here. we bulldoze out this road up here to be wider, and then I have a possible plan. There's a very difficult slopey spot over there where I might run a road down at maximum of 15 degrees. I prefer 12. That's the maximum inclination we want a road to be at. That's what civil engineers say, so they know more than I do. And but I could map that out and then either dig a bigger hole over there in the cliff because there's nothing there that's important, or maybe make a road that goes that direction upslope to a spot, and then I don't have to widen this road as much. I don't know. That seems difficult. But I know I want to make the road down there. I don't know that actually. No, I don't know that. I can't fill this barranca in, and I don't want to. It's too steep, but there's plenty of room over here to fill this all in and then raise the level of it to about, my goal is to raise it up to here. And that will make a lot more flat spots so you can actually get through here, because you wouldn't want to bring a regular car through here. I bring my van through, and it's not an easy road. So back to you. Each piece of property is different, but if you're willing to buy a place that doesn't have power, water, or access, the bigger one of those is by far the access. Now, a lot of people won't even consider it if it doesn't have power or water. That's good for you, because that land is still very valuable. Oh, look, there's some plantain down here. This is a plantain plant, and it's supposedly a super medicinal, and it likes this spot a lot. So it likes a place that's wetter, semi-shaded. It gets a fair amount of shade in here. And I should collect the seeds of that and make spots in the ravine that have nice soft dirt. Although this likes hard dirt apparently, so I might be thinking of what I would want if I was a plant. But what I want as a plant is not what all plants would want. They'll fit in a niche, just like you. You want to plant yourself in a spot where you don't have as much competition, where nobody wants that. A lot of people will say, oh, I'm going to get land and I'm going to drill a well. No, don't drill a well. Wells are expensive, and if enough people around you buy wells, if you do get neighbors, then the water table is going to go down, and ultimately you're stealing water from the forest. You know? Now, you're not really, because you're going to put it back. You're going to drink it and pee it out. You're going to have your little wastewater spot where hopefully you're using good soap, not toxic soap. But wells are not as good as rain capture. Now, I realize it's a big world. There's a lot of different solutions you can have. Mine are not always right for every situation. But rain capture, if you have access to clean rain, that's another issue. But I mean, if you don't have access to clean rain, you're probably living in the wrong place anyway. This is that spot I want to bulldoze out, this dirt here. I've already cut it a long time ago. See all these dead branches? See how you can see bulldozer work has been done? I mean, it just grows over, right? It takes a while, but I'm going to do it more here. Dump it over there. And then there's a big spot down there it's hard to get to. That one, I don't want to run a road in from the top. I want to run a road in from the bottom. And it probably won't go that far, and it'll just be trails. And I want to put hermit huts in there. I want a place for people to go and just disappear from everything. You know? They don't even need internet. When I was 27, I wanted that. I was just angsty. Young man, had almost died. I've had a long, strange relationship with death. I've had a few times where death was saying hi to me, seeing if I wanted to hang out, and I do not want to yet. Not fucking done. I hope I finish sometime next 20 years, because life's kind of a pain in the ass. Although if I live my life right from here on out, maybe I can set it up so that I'd actually want to participate in my life. I hope so. I know there's a lot of desperate people out there not liking where they're at. I see their videos, and I'm actually encouraged when I see them publishing these really honest videos, because that's what I think I'm doing. I commented even on a couple of the videos, because I think so many people do lead lives of quiet desperation, and they do feel so alone, and they are so alone. And their society doesn't really help them with that. So even though I think I'm, especially fucked up, at least I know I've done it. At least I know I've made my choices. But a lot of people are stuck in situations they don't want to be stuck in. And that's terrible. So hopefully what I do in videos is give people some views that things can be different in some ways. And for very select group of people, maybe I can even have them here. And I'll make other videos about that. I need to make an application form. I don't trust that process. So I think I'm probably going to turn that over to somebody else. I don't think I should be in charge of deciding who comes here. I think I should write up my values and who I want, who I don't want, and then somebody else can sort them out. Because I no longer trust myself to evaluate people properly. I get too confused by a pretty face, or and people will just tell you what you want to hear anyway. They'll say, "Oh yeah, I like this, I like that," and what they want is free shit. So I've been duped many times. It's nice to see these baby trees growing up in here. This is all just from when this was bulldozed. You can see how long ago based on those trees. This is another thing about bulldozing in the forest, is that if you're just cutting small parts and then giving it time to recuperate, and a whole new generation of trees use that, newly cleared land and light available, and they'll just recreate the forest. And so what we're really doing, this is what I mean when I say sculpting the forest, is that we make changes in small spots, bit by bit, giving life a chance to adjust, and we're making it so that humans can use it, but it's still extremely biodiverse and full of biomass. People ask me what those terms mean sometimes. I don't want to define them in every video. Like, if you don't know what biomass is and biodiversity and stuff like that, well, go read something. Don't ask me. I don't got time for shit. I don't got time for dumb questions. And yes, there is such a thing as a dumb question. People are too nice in the educational system. Well, it's a useless fucking educational system anyway. Just about. It babysits well. Yeah, gives parents a break. Might as well admit that. I got to make a different video just about schools. Anyway, I showed you the messy spot. That's just one messy spot, okay? That a normal car wouldn't want to go through. I just went through it yesterday or 2 days ago or 2 days ago. No. 3 days ago. 3 days ago probably. And it's just, I don't like it. It's stressful. And it's hard on the vehicle. And it's dangerous. So this could be a really nice crossing, and I could make a connection to a really nice shaded park-like spot over there. And of course this space down here I mentioned is just, having hermit huts down there would be great. That would be giving people a place that they could be in nature, away from everything that is stressing them out, just away, and not to a fucking resort where they just, give you this sterile experience, but the primal experience of being in the forest. And each hut would have its little tiny stove, wood-fired stove, and it would have candles, and I guess they could have electricity, some of them, and some of them don't need it. And I guess I could make a menu of options available for this experience, and I could charge for it, because they wouldn't be offering me anything. I'd be offering them space and a template vision, and they could just fill out a form that said, well, I want this, I want that. I don't want this, I don't want that. And because I can imagine the various variables, like in many cases they get food delivered to them. They don't have to have that daily. And they would have really simple food, all healthy, no bullshit. Some people might want electricity to write with their laptop. Other people might want no electric devices. Doesn't matter to me. They would be within shouting distance of another person. I think I could do that. And that would make the world a slightly better place. You know what? This is not that steep right here. I could actually make a road that comes into it this way. I don't want to, though. Yeah, I don't want to. I want this to be separate. In fact, I want to plant a big cedar hedge. Here's a cedar we put in. I want to plant a cedar hedge that I trim so that they don't just get tall. Because if they get tall, they lose their lower branches. and then you can see through it. And I want a visual barrier to this area. Also, the other thing I could do in here is put bamboo and is clumping bamboo. Don't be a dumbass and say the same thing everyone else says when I say the word bamboo. They always say, that's invasive. You know, no, it's not, okay? Get over it. It can be invasive, you invasive motherfucker. People don't even check what's coming out of their mouth. Yeah, like I'm big at censoring myself. I say shit that's wrong sometimes, but you can correct me. I try and be mostly correct, but I'm not that uptight about it, really. I'm not so uptight that I'm not willing to talk. You know, I'm willing to fuck up, so don't trust everything I say. I say a lot of stuff, you know, and some of it's just experimental. So, anyway, I think there could be a trail that goes in and out of here. Like I could put a building in here somewhere off of the road, and that could have a secret entryway down into there. That would be handy, because you'd want to get places, you know. Yeah, that's doable. This could be flattened over here, because there's a mud puddle here. In fact, I think, let's see, this slopes down here. This is where I really need that topographical map of the whole place. And by next year, next spring is the best time to do a drone map here because of the way the trees and leaves are. I need to have enough money to pay a guy to come with a drone, although I want to get a better drone than he has. I think I should get the better drone for me. They go up to $20,000 for what I want. They have something on called LIDAR, L, capital L, lowercase I, D-A-R, uppercase, D-A-R, LIDAR. And they're finding like hidden cities with that, like that got grown over when the Europeans arrived in Latin America. The disease in the Americas, I should say, it wasn't Latin at that time. When they arrived in the Americas, actually it wasn't the Americas either. It was Turtle Island, and I don't know what you call South America. But, you know, one of the terms for North America is Turtle Island. Some tribes somewhere use that. People like to say, oh, indigenous people called it that. Well, some indigenous people did. I sincerely doubt they all did, since they didn't know where they were. I mean, come on. They didn't magically know, like, the map of the place they live. It's like mosquitoes. I didn't see any babies in that mud puddle. Anyway, but that killed the hell out of most of the people. So the Spanish didn't kill most of them, and the English didn't kill most of them. It was disease. I mean, they got to places. Well, they never. That's why you can discover a city that had people living in it. Like those people knew where it was, because that was their house. And but no, they got killed. And then the forest is so strong. Life was so strong, like in the Amazon. Life was so strong in the Amazon, and it grew over. And then this slopes way up there. And this also faces south, pretty much south. Which means that, see, that's not true. South is not the best place to capture sun. But you could have, you know, greenhouse buildings built into this slope as well. Or not. I mean, you don't have to build everything, obviously. You want to build the small percentage of it. And then down there, well, across the ravine, I want to do a building over there. That's a tougher spot. The thing I have to do is make a spreadsheet with all these options and then prioritize them. See how one space relates to another. That's absolutely critical. These are not being done independently. I think that's one of the problems is, like when people think about a piece of land, they're like, let's divide it up into 5-acre pioneer lots and we'll all have our own stuff. And it's too independent of thinking, and it has too high a footprint. So my goal is to keep the footprint of people very low. And that's by blobbing them up, but into buildings where they're very comfortable. Like they're sound insulated. Like you could have straw bale in the interior even if you had to. Like there's probably thinner ways to do sound insulation, but... And then over here, well, this is a whole different area. But I want a road going down there. That's going to be the road that hooks across, goes to a different spot way down there. And then we'll also go into that cool spot in there. This should be flatter than this. I've learned a lot about how to do bulldozer work better. That's good. I don't think I'd put the road here to get to there. I don't know if I'd put a road there at all. No, well, you have to ways to get in and out, though. I like one-way roads a lot. I don't think roads should be two-way. But then you have to have really 1.5 roads. And so a 2-lane road is only a half a road wider. Except, actually a 2-lane road with turnouts doesn't have to be 3 then. Because, you need space by the side of the road, but if you have 2 roads, and I'm assuming they wouldn't be heavily trafficked, but you can't assume that, because if a place gets popular and you designed it for low population, then you design things wrong. And the only thing that you have to do is just leave more space. Leave more space for stuff. Like, don't have a narrow street and then put buildings right on it. It's okay to have more space. Like, I'm going to go to a town over there, and whoever designed that decided we're going to have a really big road right in the middle of town. It's actually two lanes, 2 roads, separated by a thing in the middle. It's probably a name for that kind of road. And it's really neat. It's really, really cool. It does go straight up slope, which is kind of weird. In fact, I should measure the slope with my GPS or some other way, like with one of those triangle things or whatever. Isn't there like a thing you can just put on the ground? It tells you what slope it is? Like a little level? There must be something like that. But I want the number on it. And I just want to see a little bubble floating around. I need a number of how steep is the slope. Because like this slope up here, I'm thinking, okay, I need to zigzag a road down it, or have a road go way over there and then come back over here. And it's like, screw it. If this is the same as that town, it is possible that I should just shoot this road straight up this slope. 2 lanes. And it would all be nice view up on the whole road, right? So even when you're walking on it, you're going to get view. I'd have to pavement it. It would have to be pavement, because otherwise it would just be a, eroding dirt mess. That's a crazy idea I hadn't thought of. And it could split up there and stuff. I mean, I can connect it because I'm going to do a contour road. All roads, the general rule. Anytime I say rule, I mean generally, because you're going to break rules. Because the rule isn't the master. The rule is a tool that you usually use, but then it's exceptions. And that allows you to quicker design a space or something. But there's exceptions. Like, even though roads should all be on contour, how are you going to get from one road to the other? Obviously, they're not all going to be on contour. And so ideally, and this is in the pattern language, a famous book on architecture. That's a just really great book. It also has a companion book, which I have, called The Timeless Way of Building, or something. Alexander, somebody wrote that? I don't know who wrote that. But it's 3 books altogether. I don't even know what the other book is. This is gorgeous in here. This was all cut. All it was cut. I chopped down all the pine trees. And guess what I got now? More pine trees. I didn't chop them all down. I left ones to have seeds. And even now, this was recently cut, relatively recently. I mean, it depends on your concept of time. But I even still have some spindly ones in here. Those probably aren't going to live that long. But, and then in here I want to put a pond, a big lake. And I've waffled on that. I've thought, well, I could, make a big area in there that's flat. And I'm like, well, you know what? There's only so many places I can put a lake, and this is a natural spot for it. So lake it is. Like Sepp Holzer. That's SEPP space HOLTZER. Sepp Holzer in Austria. He makes lakes. Look that guy up. And I'm jealous of him in a good way. Inspired by him. He's real good at making lakes. And this would be a great spot for, I think, as big a lake as I can make. I mean, why not? And I could raise koi in there, koi, carp. I think are the most valuable fish that I can raise. Carp in general are pretty easy to raise, and I would have a nice, deep, big spot. And then I could do near it a koi It doesn't have to be near it, but it'd be more convenient. A koi reproduction area to reproduce the babies. How cool would that be? These are like magic fish from Asia, China, Japan, I don't know where. And they have beautiful colors. They're very individual. And they're also very soluble because it's really a luxury item. Now, a lot of times here in this project, I'm talking about survival stuff and how we're going to survive in a post-apocalyptic world. Oh, it's pretty dark stuff, you know, hard to take, really. It's depressing to some, and it's death. But out of death may come life. And I think that having pretty fish is not the worst thing, you know? Just like some people who are all into permaculture crap, which I'm into. I'm a permaculture teacher, actually. I should have permaculture workshops here. But permaculture is not everything. It's just some guys who wrote down some stuff that makes a certain amount of sense, largely drawing on really ancient ways of doing agriculture and combining it with kind of a system way of thinking of it, which people probably did in ancient times as well. Primitive people were actually pretty fancy. I mean, they had a lot of time to sit around and think about shit, and they definitely knew their environment well. So permaculture has lots of flaws, things it doesn't do, but I don't think it claims to be anything other than what it is. So I'm only moderately critical. I am critical of some of the promises that get made by people who want to sell it. And, you know, like that you can take a 72-hour course and suddenly you're qualified to advise anybody on anything. No, I think that gives you your basic terminology to get started. And then you should get a lot more work done. But those principles are tricky because you have to apply them to the individual spot you're at. You can't just dump your theoretical, you know, let's put this zone here and that zone there crap. You know, your microclimates matter more than that. Every detail matters. Like access matters. Like I want to run, I mean, as soon as I say road, I know a bunch of people are like, why would you put a road in the forest? No, don't worry about it. It's a fucking dirt road, all right? I mean, it'll just grow over if we ignore it. And it's going to change water flow to slow the water flow. And it's going to make it so people can use the forest. Because if you can use the forest and it's benefiting you, then you'll protect it. In other words, we have to make it have human value or humans will just cut it all down and use it for monoculture. Which is exactly what will happen if I die tomorrow. This will all get cut down. Maybe. The economy has changed a little bit on products that are popular around here. So people aren't quite as much chomping out on the bit to cut down every goddamn forest, which is what they were 5 years ago. But things change, but they'll change again. And so this forest will always be in danger unless it's profitable. We must make forests be highly profitable. And that can be somewhat for the products, but my thinking is that if we have it be biodiverse enough, that it has many products coming out of it, or used within it, and more importantly, we have people in it, and we can prove that people can live with the forest and not destroy it. We can sculpt the forest and insert the people into it. It's starting to sound kinky or something. No, I'm not thinking like that. And have people here, but then our actual footprint should be, you know, well under 10% of heavily altered areas, and then lots of perennials mixed in, and a collection of plants, or best plants from all over the world that aren't invasive. I never finished my comments on bamboo. There's real quick here. There's clumpers and there's runners. Say this like it's a mantra if you're into this shit. You know, we should collect all the best bamboos in the world and put them where they go. I mean, I met David Farrelly, the guy who wrote the bamboo book. I think it was just called The Bamboo Book. I'm not sure. I have a copy. Do I have a copy? No, I don't have a copy. I've seen it online and read a lot about bamboos, but I would love to collect all the kinds of bamboos that can grow here with no irrigation and get them down by some lakes near here as well. Very carefully placed, knowing that some can be invasive in some places, but never putting them there. Like, the first plant I put in was a bamboo. It was a timber bamboo. And it grew so slow. And I've reproduced it now, and I've learned how to reproduce it better. So I'm going to have lots of bamboo soon. And I want to share that with other people. Then I want to start encouraging use of that bamboo Because when you really talk about cultural design and introducing a plant into it, you're introducing an opportunity, but that's one that people don't naturally see. I mean, like you could use bamboo for making wind chimes. They have a nice funky sound, a lower sound, and I really like the sound of it. I like it better than the high-pitched ones that metal often makes. It's just a really peaceful sound. And so that's a product. You could make little cups with them, shot glasses. You could make flutes with bamboo. And I could get other bamboo. There's a black bamboo. I want to get that. I used to have one that was yellow and green stripes on it. And I don't know if it died or not. It was in a really tough spot. I should have moved it because I only had one or two. And that would be amazing if it actually died. But, you know, if you put a plant in a place it really doesn't want to be, just like a person, it's going to die or suffer its whole life and produce nothing. And that's true of a lot of people. And lately I've been having contact with people that are pretty goddamn unhappy with where they're at. And for some of those people, I see that as a really beautiful thing. And I hope that they find a place where they're fulfilled, that gives them strength, gives them fellowship with other people. Because I'll tell you, living alone this long, I know the value of having people around. I also know how having people around can destroy your life. So that's why I want to be really cautious about who I let near me. And that's actually important. Some people will find that objectionable because they think we should accept everyone and be all open to everyone. It's like, no. Some people are problems in their own lives and in the lives of people around them. Others are trying for a higher level of consciousness, not in a spiritual way, but a higher level of awareness of like people around them and being actually empathetic, not just thinking, I'm an empath, therefore I'm special. You know, it's like, okay, whatever, you know. It's often not very empathic to say you're an empath. It's a red flag for me. I mean, it's good that you're trying, but whatever it is that you need to do to feel like you're special and better than other people probably isn't a very good thing, okay? You're not special. You are special. See, I can say opposite things. They're both true. It's confusing. I don't apologize for that. All right, I'm no longer in my forest. But I did build this little bridge here. See that? I built that. It's just 2 sticks. 2 logs from my land. But now you can get across there. Otherwise you have to go through this gully, through the barbed wire. That's not as good. All right. A little hyper. Yeah, I would like to have other people here. And I just got to figure out the right way to do that. And I think that being willing to put up with my pickiness, my selectiveness, is good if you understand that you want me to be picky if you're going to come here. You want me to cut out all kinds of sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists. I don't even know what that is. Maybe I am one. Who cares? But, you know, cut out people who have bad behaviors, I guess is the thing, and who are a risk to other people, who are a risk to the project, who are, you know, like the first guy I had here, he was a guy I met on the street. He just had his clothes in a bag, and he was like, I don't know what he said to me. This was like 18 years ago or something. No. Probably 17 years ago, somewhere in there. And he was looking for a place he could stay and be useful. So I let him stay here. Really nice guy. He was the very first guy I did that with. And he was all right. He was a really nice guy. He was into woodworking, and we were getting him wood material to work with and talking about, you know, we can make these, potentially we can make some products and stuff. And he was happy to be in a nice, safe place to be. His mom apparently had decided she was Jesus and started a cult. And so he didn't want to be part of that. That's what he told me. I don't know what's true. But he was a really nice guy, except, you know how some people, well, they change when they drink. Everybody changes, but some people change for the worse. And he... I took him as an assistant, my assistant to a wedding I was going to photograph. It was a brother and sister getting married to 2 different chicks. And so I was the wedding photographer because it's fun and it was a favor. I was just doing it because I'm a nice guy. And so I took this guy to the wedding, and I didn't hear until later what happened at that wedding. Now, I decided I was too drunk, and I left. And I said, I'll see you later. I said, okay, I'll see you later. I left, and he kept drinking, and of course the alcohol is free at a wedding. So he drank too much, and at some point, I didn't hear this till later, maybe I should hold off on telling you just to have some suspense. I'm not sure I'm supposed to tell you I'm using suspense. I should just use it. Oh well, I'm mostly an open book. I should be less of one, but anyway. So I go back home, and he comes back home, and then a different day, I say, hey, do you want to bike into town and buy some food for us? Because we're hungry and we don't have any food. This is a long time ago. I was, learning how to survive. And he said, yeah, I'll go into town. Okay, so I gave him like $50 or something, and went into town. And he was supposed to come back with a backpack, day pack with food in it, and he did not come back. And a couple of days went by, and I didn't know what to do about that. I didn't have a phone and any way to contact him, but he was just disappeared with my bike. So I was thinking, what the hell, And I didn't know what to do, so I didn't do anything. And so then I get a call. I must have had a phone if I got a call. I guess I had a phone. Let's just inject a phone back into the story. And it was the cops. They're with my friend down in town, and he's translating, because I didn't understand cops in the phone. I didn't understand what they wanted. Am I going to get a sandwich in town? What am I doing here? What am I doing? Oh, there's more suspense for you. Anyway, so the cops call me up, and they're like, hey, we got your friend here. It's so-and-so. Do you know this guy? And I was like, oh, I know him. He's not my friend. He's just a guy I'm letting stay at my house. And they're like, well, we got him, and, you can pay his fine if you want. And I was like, I'm not going to pay his fine. What did he do? And it turns out he's accused of, and almost certainly it's true, trying to sell pot to adolescents in town. Like right in the open. And that's a bad thing to do. Also, he didn't give me any pot or sell me any. I don't know what happened. But then the story comes out. Oh, I get his shit together. I go and collect all of his crap and put it in a bag. I go down there. I get my bike back, which the cops have. I don't pay his fine. And they're like, well, what are we going to do with him? And I was like, well, I don't know what you're going to do with him. And they said, well, we're going to, tell him to leave and not come back and stuff. And I was like, well, okay, that's fine with me. And I just was out of there. Okay, that's how I met the police, the local police. I don't want to know the police, I'm not doing anything bad, but they have, power. And it turns out they're actually pretty nice so far. In the last 20 years, they've been fine. But turns out for the last 3 days prior to that, he had been going around town telling people he was my friend, spending the money on alcohol. And $50 can actually buy a lot of alcohol, especially 20 years ago. Or 17, whatever it was. And telling people he's my friend, using my name, which I don't like. And then got caught for that. And it turns out, after I left the wedding, he got really drunk, and he actually at some point asked the bride to fuck. Which I'm pretty sure is right up there in as bad a party fouls at a wedding you can do. Like, that's just wrong on so many levels. Actually, it's only wrong on one level. It's the only one that matters. Just don't do that. Don't do that at all. And so I didn't have a good enough filter to filter that guy out because I didn't know who the hell he was. Nobody was on social media at that time, way out here. So I want a big filter on things, and that's a filter to protect everybody, but including myself. I don't want more anonymous people here. That upsets me. It's too dangerous. it's too risky. What am I going to do? Get a sandwich or not? Well, I need to walk around anyway. Or do I get back to work? Because I get major work. I'm actually getting in the swing of things. I just got a second biggest donation I've ever gotten at the same level. I've gotten multiple of that level, but that's pretty exciting. From a guy that has been following me for a while. He lives in France now. But it couldn't come at a better time. You know, I'm on the almost upswing as I fall. It's like, I don't know what I am. I'm a guy sliding down towards a cliff edge and trying to grip into the earth to just stop myself from going over. And there's people trying to help me. Not many, not enough. But the fact that anybody's trying at all, and I'm able to use any resources I get very well, so I'm going to get a sandwich. Fuck. A big donation like that, I think I can afford a sandwich. It's not expensive. It's like $5. That's fine. Well, it's another rambling video. That's just how it goes. But if you were here talking with me, I would give you a chance to speak as well. And probably be interested in what you have to say, because I'm kind of getting sick of listening to me. But that's okay. I still got lots of other thoughts to share. This whole ridge here, I would love to buy. And I have money to do that, obviously. But I think the owner died, and I think the inheritor of it doesn't live here. It would be expensive, though. It's not my first target on land to buy, but there's a bunch of fields up through it, and you could easily build whole communities in those without even having to cut the forest down, because most of it's so slopey that you can't really use it for much anyway. I mean, I'm very much into building into slope. In this case, it's a almost north-facing slope, and that's actually really nice. And then it gets some morning sun like it has right now. But it's actually a sweet spot. It really is. And I wouldn't want to build on hardly any of this. Like, maybe way down there's a spot. It's a big piece of land. It's like, I don't know, 60 to 80 acres. I'm not sure on the lower side where the property boundary is. Oh, I have crawled over fences down there. There's the Dogginses. The Doggins. Hi, Doggin. How you doing? Little doggy. Happy doggies going for a walk. Well, I guess that's it. I'm tapped out on that. All I'm thinking about now is getting a sandwich, because that would be really great. I get tired of eating the same thing all the time. The other day on Friday, I did buy I bought like over a pound of meat, and I just ate it all. And then I bought some ground hamburger, because I was going to use it to trick a dog into taking a deparasiting pill. But then I didn't do it, so I ended up just giving the dogs a hamburger to eat. All right, well, that's it. Sorry for wasting your time here at the end. Should make outlines on some videos and make more snappy stuff that we go from point A to point B to point C to point D. We're just right on track, and we're injecting knowledge into your head. But I guess these rambly videos are sometimes useful, like to see how stuff connects together. I would do that too in those, though. I'm just using you to keep me company. Imagining people inside the camera. You're very small. You're very small to be in that camera. Let's get small. Goodbye.